it's not snow on top. So excited.
It's our bucket list cruise. And we're finally here in the Greek islands.
It's so beautiful. This is like your screensaver on your computer at home. Nicer.
It's actually, the temperature's pretty nice so far today.
It is.
And there's where we're headed.
Ooh.
Off in the distance. Got a tour organized for today. Look at this happy face.
I know. I'm trying to stay here, but I still want to be there.
Our tour begins in the Celebrity Theater. From here, we're led down to the gangway, where we board a local tender to shore.
Rather than going directly into Fira, where we would have had to take a tram to the top of the cliffs, or ride a donkey, or walk 600 steps to the top, all of which can eat up a lot of your time, our tender is taking us a little further away to a tender dock where tour buses can pick us up directly and drive us up the side of the cliffs.
Oh, I'd love to see that smile. Her excitement can hardly be contained. On shore, we're part of tour group number 13 and set out to find our bus in the parking lot.
Choose your guys, please. Choose your guys.
Stop, 13. We are here. Ticket, please. This is her box.
I'd rather see somebody use.
Welcome to Santorini. Excited?
Very much so.
Kalimera. Kali means good, generally speaking. Mera means day. Kalimera, ladies and gentlemen, which is really a Kalimera because the weather is fantastic. We are going to do a fantastic tour. We are going to start, and believe me, the earlier you go there, the better. We are going to start at Ia, the Instagram village, the village with the blue domes. Have you heard about Ia?
Santorini's most iconic village, Ia, is like stepping into a postcard. Nestled high on the cliffs of the island's caldera, Ia is famous for its whitewashed buildings, blue dome churches, and of course those breathtaking views of the Aegean. But to get all that beauty, you first have to make your way through a maze of narrow alleyways, and that's where the adventure begins.
Yeah, after hopping off the tour bus in the parking lot, we started the short but scenic walk up towards Ia's main square. Now, walk makes it sound easy, but it's actually a series of winding pathways, stone-paved stairs, and little tiny corridors that snake between traditional homes and shops.
It's one of those places where you turn a corner and boom, another incredible view. But also watch your step, because the smooth stone paths can be a little slippery, especially after so many people have walked them over the years.
As we reached the main square, we noticed something special was happening. The entire village was decorated with Greek flags, and there was an unmistakable energy in the air. That's because we happened to be visiting on October 28th, the Greek national holiday known as the Day of No, or Ohi Day.
Now, if you're not familiar with it, Ohi Day commemorates the moment in 1940 when Greece refused to surrender to the Axis powers during World War II. The reply from the Greeks was a resounding Ohi, which means no in Greek. Since then, it's become a day of national pride and remembrance with parades, speeches, and celebrations all across Greece. In Ia, we saw church bells ringing, people dressed in traditional clothing, and a real sense of patriotism in the air.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to witness that firsthand. It wasn't just about the history, it was about the culture.
I don't even know what to say. It's so beautiful. Oh my gosh.
After soaking in the views, we spent some time wandering through Ia's charming little alleyways. The streets are tight, winding, and absolutely packed with character. You've got boutique shops selling handmade jewelry, local art, and Greek ceramics, the kind of souvenirs you actually want to bring home.
And of course, there's no shortage of cafes, taverns, and bakeries serving up fresh local specialties. With full hearts and way too many photos, it was finally time to head back to the tour bus. But honestly, Ia is one of those places that sticks with you long after you leave.
Absolutely. It's breathtaking, timeless, and just so Santorini.
Next up on our Santorini adventure, wine with a view. We made our way to Santo Winery, a stunning cliffside vineyard that offers breathtaking views.
We're here at Santo Winery, part of our tour in Santorini today. What a beautiful view with the ships in the background. What are you thinking so far?
It is beyond my wildest expectations. So far, Santorini is absolutely gorgeous. The tour is fantastic. Highlights is definitely a good name for it.
And this tour, so far we have seen the sort of the countryside of the island. We've been to Ia, and we did the classic blue domes overlooking the cliff, the little alleyways, the markets.
Oh, I could have stayed there for 5 days.
Did a little shopping.
A little shopping.
Got a memento, and then we came to this winery, which was great.
Little snacks.
3 different kinds of wine, a white, a red, and a sweet red wine. It tastes like a raisin wine. But you know what? It doesn't feel as sharp or strong as the other two.
No, it's not dry.
It's so smooth.
No, for sweet wine, like I said, it's sweet, but it's not like.
Oh, now there it is. when it hits you down here, it's like.
Yamas!
Yes!
The other tip we'd have, and our tour guide gave it to us, is go early.
Yeah.
That's always a tip we give you. But we got to Ia, and we got to actually get pictures at all the tour spots before the crowds. And within 30 minutes of our arrival, we went from 2 buses in the parking lot to 25 buses in the parking lot. Just the long lines to try to get access to a place to take a picture. And I can only imagine in peak season how busy it is.
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine. And the temperature today is perfection.
Oh, it's olives, cheese, snacks.
That's not our lunch. We still get a lunch at a Greek restaurant.
Oh my God. But I'm full already.
I know. We're having a great time.
Check in again later.
Our next stop, Akrotiri, one of the most important archaeological sites in all of Greece.
Yeah, think of it as Santorini's version of Pompeii, except this one's even older. Way back in the 17th century BC, Akrotiri was a thriving Minoan civilization, complete with multi-story buildings and advanced drainage systems. But then disaster struck and massive volcanic eruption buried the entire city.
Inside, you can walk along raised platforms, weaving through ancient streets and past long-lost buildings, pottery, and even what used to be kitchens and shops. However, not everyone was as enthralled with the archaeology.
Hey, I love a good ruin as much as the next guy, but after 30 solid minutes of history walking in dust, something ancient stirred inside me, a deep historical archaeological thirst. So I strategically withdrew from the tour and made my way back to the entrance, where I discovered something truly remarkable. A cultural treasure, a golden artifact glistening in the afternoon sun.
A cold mythos beer at the cafe.
Precisely. Some people come to Akrotiri to uncover history. I came to uncover refreshment. There I was, ice-cold beer in hand, gentle Santorini breeze, a peaceful view of the island, absolute paradise. It was like stepping into a dream. Time slowed down, the world faded away, and
then the group showed up.
It was totally worth it. Ancient ruins are great, but sometimes history tastes better when it's ice-cold and in a frosty glass.
After a full morning of exploring Santorini, it was time for one of the best parts of any Greek adventure, the food.
We arrived at a family-owned restaurant known for its authentic Greek cuisine, a lively atmosphere, and a little bit of dancing fun. And wow, what a spread. The buffet was packed with some of Greece's most delicious dishes.
We started with fresh Greek salad. There was also tzatziki with warm pita, stuffed grape leaves, and grilled souvlaki skewers that were perfectly charred and juicy. What do you have?
I have Greek salad, chicken souvlaki, pork souvlaki, bread, which is crazy, herbs, tzatziki, fava. I don't know what the leaf is called.
But just when we thought we were ready to sink into a food coma, the music started. Some local musicians started playing lively Greek tunes, and suddenly 2 dancers in beautiful green dresses appeared, graceful, elegant, and totally in sync with the rhythm. They twirled, clapped, and glided across the floor in traditional Greek dancing at its finest. And then they turned to us. First, they taught us a simple Greek line dance where we linked arms and stepped in rhythm. This was probably the safest dance for beginners.
Then things got, let's say, more ambitious. We moved on to some faster dances where they had us twist and twirl, tap our feet, and not trip over each other, which honestly, it was a challenge. Yeah, at one point I think I was just spinning in circles, but hey, we were having so much fun.
And that's the best part. It wasn't about getting the steps right, it was about enjoying the moment, the music, and the joy of Greek culture.
And just as we were finishing up the dancing, we saw something happening. White clay plates started appearing on our tables, and if you know anything about Greek celebrations, that could only mean one thing.
Plate smashing is a long-standing Greek tradition often seen at weddings, celebrations, and festivals. It symbolizes joy, letting go of negativity, and embracing life to the fullest.
Then it was our turn, and let's just say things got chaotic fast. Plates were flying, shattering, crashing, and everyone was shouting "Oppa" after every smash.
Thankfully, we weren't the ones cleaning it up. Before they handed us brooms and made us clean up our mess, we took our cue to head back to the bus. After 7 incredible hours, our Santorini adventure was coming to an end. We drove back to the tender port where we caught one last glimpse of Santorini's whitewashed buildings. The sun was hanging low in the sky, and it was that perfect time of day, just before sunset, when everything feels softer, warmer, almost magical.
We had spent the last 7 hours completely immersed in the beauty, the history, and the spirit of Santorini. From Ia to the volcanic vineyards, from ancient ruins to wild Greek dancing, it had been one of those rare, perfect days you know you're going to remember forever.
As we looked back, Santorini's cliffs towered above us. It was hard to believe that just this morning we were up there, gazing out at the very sea we were now floating on.
It felt like we lived an entire story in one day.
But we weren't returning to the ship the same way we left. We were returning full of memories, full of stories, and full of the magic of Santorini.
Back on board, we went back to the Sunset Bar, and I realized something. Days like this don't come around often. This was one of those rare, perfect days where everything aligned and every moment felt special, and every experience left a mark.
Santorini had given us beauty, adventure, history, and laughter. And now, as we stepped back on board, we carried a little piece of it with us.
It had been one of the best days of our lives, and somehow it still felt like it wasn't quite over yet.
Because, after all, the night was still young.
Good evening. We're on our way to dinner. It's a late dinner tonight.
It is.
Close to 8 o'clock.
But there's a reason we had a late dinner. We came back and enjoyed the sunset in Santorini.
We've had a full day in Santorini.
And we had a lot of food at that restaurant.
We ate a late lunch at that restaurant. The dancing didn't wear it all off. But we had a great time today, and now we're going to have dinner. And
we're going to try the main dining rooms. We'll take you along with us.
We'll see you there. We both went with the French onion soup and steak for dinner.
Then for dessert, Chris had the chocolate cake and I had the chocolate lava cake. It was delicious.
After dinner, we stopped by the Martini Bar for a drink and a show.
Apple martini. Our first time. It's always amazing to see how talented the crew on board are. These flair bartenders make it look so easy.
Next up is the 80s music trivia and dance party. The audience gets split into 2 teams and 2 captains are nominated to lead the teams. Points are awarded for the correct answers and for the team spirit. And Melanie and our friend Karen were leaving nothing to chance.
In the end, it was a tie, so the 2 captains had to do a dance-off to break the tie. It was a fun way to cap off a spectacular day.
We stuck around and danced the night away to some classic hits, but we didn't stay up too late as tomorrow is another busy day.
Join us next time as we are in Mykonos. We didn't think it was possible to get better than Santorini. Then, later in the evening, the ladies pull a fast one on the guys and it ends up with a Chippendales reunion at the full moon party. Thanks for watching.